In part 2 of Rags to Riches, we'll be completing the Cayo Perico heist, which is one of the best ways to make money in the entire game. And I'll cover absolutely everything from start to finish. Now, I am aware that you might not need help with every single part of the Cayo Perico heist, so there are timestamps and chapters in this video in case you only need help with a specific part. Okay, so how do we actually start the Cayo Perico heist? Well, you need to go over to the music locker, which is at the very back of the Diamond Casino. Going in here and walking down the stairs will put you into a cutscene, which acts as the intro for the Cayo Perico heist. After this cutscene, you can go into Warstock, Cash and Carry and buy your very own Kasatka submarine. Now, it is $2.2 million, which is pretty expensive, but it's gonna be worth it, don't worry, because this heist will make us over $1 million per run. As for the upgrades for your Kasatka, I wouldn't recommend really getting any of them except for the Sparrow if you can afford it. Right now, in this Rags to Riches series, we can't afford it, so we're gonna get that later. Once you've bought your Kasatka submarine, head into your interaction menu, go down to Service Vehicles and click on Kasatka. Request your Kasatka and it'll spawn in the ocean somewhere near you. For your first time through the Cayo Perico heist, we need to do the scope out, which is basically scoping out the island, figuring out what we can and can't do, which is gonna unlock different infiltration points for us for the finale. Now, this part of the Cayo Perico heist hasn't changed at all since last year, in last year's Rags to Riches series, but there have been some other changes. But for now, let's just recap the scope out and get you up to speed if you aren't already. Once you finish all these cutscenes, we just need to get past this guard here. Now, if you walk right past him, he's going to tell you to turn around, so we kind of need to sneak around him, or we can wait for him to actually walk forward, which happens every so often, and then we can just walk behind him and walk out the gate. Okay, now that we're out, just follow this route that I'm going to show you here. So we're going to come up here to the right. Now we're going to have this first guard tower up there. We're going to run all the way and go through this little door. Alright, we're through. So we're going to go to the right here because there's a camera watching that way. And what we can do, check that there's no car coming, and there's no car, you can see here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to steal this ATV, back it up, and drive right across here, dodging that camera. Now make sure that the guard in the guard tower on the right isn't looking this way as well, which he isn't right now. So we're going to gun it across here. Alright, we're good. First thing we need to do is get to the compound of El Rubio. After your first completion, you'll just need to get to the communications tower up there, but we have to get to the actual compound and scope it out on our first time. So just follow this route that I'm doing here. This is one of the most easiest ways. You can really do whatever you want, but if you want to not get detected, I'm not going to get detected on this run, so just copy what I do. Alright, so I like to head up to basically where the communications tower is, and then slowly go down to the compound. Make sure that guard doesn't see us because he's about to turn around. Drive slowly, try not to run into any bushes or anything. Like, okay, well, I've just done that. This ATV is really not handling the ground as well as I thought it would, but that's okay. Alright, there's a compound entrance. How far down do we need to get? Right here, okay. So there's the compound. Now we're going to turn around and go back up to that communications tower. Just take the same route, dodging that guard that's in the tower there. You should turn around at some point here. Hey buddy, come on, we've got things to do. And dude, these trees do my head in. Come on, up we go. Come on. That's the way, lad. Oh, see, that's why you should probably drive a bit slower. Alright, once we're here, we'll go in this gate and we're looking for the communications signal box thing. Sometimes it can spawn on the ground, but it hasn't this time, so we'll climb up. And it can spawn on any of the levels of this tower. Could be on the first level, could be on the top level. So just keep an eye out, you'll hear it as well. And it's right here on the first level, easy. Alright, we'll open this, and then we just need to do a little bit of algebra. So I hope you didn't skip your math class today, because... Alright, so that's times 1, times 2, and times 5. So we need a times 10, sorry. Times 10, times 1, and then times 2 gets us 59. Easy. Okay, once we're here, we're going to go into Sightseer on our phone. I'm not going to try and spoil this for you, but you do get like a mini cutscene, so we'll skip past this. Okay, once you finish that cutscene, what I actually want you to do is go through all of the cameras and scroll all the way from right to left or left to right. Here we are in the basement though. We need to go all the way to the left because the first time we do this heist, we're going to get the Madrazo files. There they are. Alright, we scoped out the primary targets. Now what I would recommend doing is just going left to right, like I said, through all of these cameras. You're going to see a lot of secondary loot that we won't actually be able to get as a solo player because you need 2 key cards to enter these rooms, so you need at least 2 players. That's fine, this heist is actually more profitable as a solo player anyway, so don't worry about it. And the reason I want you to do this is not actually to scope out these secondary targets, but once you get outside, it's going to scope different entry points into the compound for you. So as you can see here with the north gate, we scroll all the way to the left, and we just scoped out an entry point there. We'll go north wall, go all the way to the right, and there's another compound entry point. So basically just do that. You'll only have to do this once, and then you will remember all of these points. After that, Pavel's going to tell you to go to the north dock, which is kind of annoying because we won't actually be using the north dock for the way that we're going to do the Cayo Perico heist today. But anyway, just go there, do what he tells you to do, and then what I want you to do after that is actually steal one of these dinghies here. Once you've got the dinghy, I want you to drive it all the way around here, where I'm placing this waypoint, right out front of the compound in the water here. This is because we're going to scope out the drainage tunnel. Now, you don't actually scope this out by taking a photo of it. You do it by swimming underwater where the drainage tunnel is. So follow what I do here and you'll scope it out. Then I want you to drive all the way around to the main dock over here. Take a photo of this entrance, make sure that it pops up as you scoping out the main dock. This is actually where we're going to enter for the Cayo Perico heist. So you need to take a photo of it in order to actually enter here. Next, I want you to head back to the airstrip back at the top of the map. Go into this building here, this hangar sort of thing. I guess it's a hangar, right? And once we're in here, we want to take a photo of all of this secondary loot. So we've got some green stuff there and some cash. So we'll take a photo of that. You do have to take a photo of each individual item as well. It won't just take a photo of both of them. Send both of those to Pavel. Then we're going to jump up on this box, jump up here. This is where we can scope out some more stuff. So we got a bit more cash and Coke. So that's the best. Coke is going to pay the most. Beautiful. So in terms of how much they're going to pay you for loot that you can get solo, Coke is going to be the best, then it's going to be the green stuff, and then cash pays the least. I've done a complete breakdown where I broke down the profits for every single one as well, including gold and artwork, so check that out. That's a video for a separate occasion. This is just our first time through. After you've scoped those two out, we're going to run over here. That's because more secondary loot can spawn in this shack here. We didn't get any, that's okay. We've still got Coke, some green stuff, and some cash we can grab over there. Once that's done, you're going to have to take a photo of the control tower as well. So do that, then head back to the pilot and head back to the city. Alright, scope out is done, but there's a couple tips I want to give you before we move into the setups. Number 1, head into your interaction menu, go down to preferences and change your spawn location to the Kasatka. This means anytime you change lobby, it'll just teleport you immediately to your Kasatka submarine, so you don't have to drive all the way across the map. Number 2, you don't need to swim or drive your Kasatka to land every time. In your interaction menu, go down to service vehicles, click on Kasatka, and you can actually just request a dinghy. That's going to spawn right next to you wherever you are, which makes it very easy to get to and from your submarine. Of course, eventually we will buy the Sparrow helicopter, which will make this a lot easier, but for now, this will do. Now it's time to actually do the setups. So let's head back to our planning board, and you can see we have a lot of different preps to choose from. This board can be a little bit confusing, so let me clarify a few things. For your approach vehicles, it shows you 0 out of 5, but you only need to choose 1. We'll do that in just 1 second. For the equipment, there's 4 different ones to choose from. However, there's only going to be 4 if you actually scoped out the drainage tunnel. Scoping out the drainage tunnel lets you unlock the cutting torch in the equipment tab, which is a much easier, quicker, and quieter method than the demolition charges. So even though there's 4 different options in here, we only have to do 3. Also in the equipment tab, you'll either have safe codes or plasma cutter. You'll have one or the other depending on what you get in the vault. If you have a plasma cutter, it means you have to cut into the glass and steal something. If you have safe codes, it means you have to break into the safe. Anyway, that'll make sense as you get into the heist. For your weapon loadout, you only have to choose 1 weapon loadout, of course. And then for your disruption, there's 3 different options to choose from, and you don't actually have to do any of them. These are all completely optional missions that will just make the finale a little bit easier, but as you'll see once we get to the finale, they're not really worth doing. So let's get started with the approach vehicles, and as of right now, the easiest and fastest vehicle to use in my opinion is the Longfin. So let's get started. And our submarine's on the wrong side of the map. Okay, so what we want to do is sit down in the driver's seat of the submarine here and press the fast travel button. It'll be on the bottom right of your screen. Now we want to move the submarine closer. Vespucci Beach is a very close location. Now this is going to cost $10,000 the first time you do it. After that, it's only going to cost $2,000. It'll be worth it though with how much time you save, so don't worry about the cost. We're going to be making a lot of money very soon. Okay, now we need to go steal a truck cab. There's 2 different locations we can go. One of them will only have 1 truck. That's going to have like a massive ram on the front of it. And the other one will have 2 trucks that are just normal trucks. I'm just going to get a normal truck. It's a bit closer. It's a lot easier to get because the other one is very protected. There's lots of enemies there and it's just not going to be worth it. The normal truck will be completely fine. All right, let's take this one and head over to the police station. Excuse me, cops. I'll be taking this Longfin. Okay, now we have to lose the cops. You don't actually need to do this though. A much quicker way of losing the cops is actually just jumping out of the truck and blowing yourself up. Seems strange, I know, but it's going to lose the cops immediately, and it's just a lot quicker. All right, let's get back in and deliver this Longfin. Drive it in here, and that will be our first setup done. Once this is done, make sure you've got your spawn location as your Kasadka again, and then we'll just find a new lobby, preferably an invite-only lobby. It'll be a lot easier and safer, and instead of having to drive back to the submarine, this will just teleport us right there. Okay, next setup we have to do is safe codes. This one's very straightforward. Head into the Diamond Casino, and the guy we're looking for kind of looks a bit like a cowboy. He's got a cowboy hat on, wearing a suit. Be careful in these rooms though. These enemies will take you out very quick. Make sure to use your snacks. All right, he's down. We'll loot him. Now let's get out of here and move on to the next setup. All right, onto Fingerprint Cloner. This one again, very simple. We just have to go to 2 different locations. This first room is going to have 4 guys inside. Take your time here. Again, these guys are very dangerous. Then we'll hack this computer. All done. All right, head over to the next location. Grab the cloner, head back to the submarine, and we're done. Okay, now we're on to Cutting Torch. This is going to let us break in through the drainage tunnel, which is very quick and easy. So we need to head over to the construction site over here. Now, at every construction site, there will be a hard hat that you can put on to blend in. So let's do that. Got to search all the toolboxes, and here it is. Okay, moving on to weapon loadout. The one I'm going to recommend getting is Aggressor. This will give us an assault shotgun and a machine pistol, 2 very good weapons. And don't worry about buying suppressors just yet. You don't need to buy them. You can just add them for free at the finale screen later on, so don't worry about that. Now, with your weapon loadouts, there's 2 different setup missions that you can get. One of them will take you to a building. The other one will take you to Merryweather HQ. You can do whichever one you want, but the Merryweather HQ one is going to take way longer. So if you do get the Merryweather HQ one, I would just recommend finding a new session immediately, teleporting to your submarine and trying again. Okay, this time we got the building, so let's head over there and do it. Now we just need to break in here. If you do have a helicopter as well, you can land it on top of the building and enter through the roof, but we don't have one yet, so we're just going to go through the ground. Okay, now that we're inside, all of the enemies will be alerted because we took out the guys out front, but that's okay. Again, just take this slow and steady and you'll be just fine. All right, all done. Let's hack into the computer and steal the weapons. Okay, now we're on to the finale. It's time to get paid. So let's set this heist up properly so that it's as easy as possible. Our approach vehicle will be the Longfin, infiltration point will be the main dock, compound entry point is drainage tunnel, escape point can be anything, it doesn't matter, we're actually not going to use this one. Time of day can be either, daytime will be a little bit easier to see, and for your weapon loadout, choose aggressor and make sure you click suppressors as well. That's very important. Now I'm going to walk you through this heist step by step so that you can complete it easily without getting detected. So the first thing you want to do is take your Longfin to the airstrip, because this should be the location that you scoped out your secondary targets. So you should know which locations you're trying to go to here to get your loot. Now for me, this time I got lucky and all of them are in the same hangar, so we don't have to go to 2 locations. So this will be a very easy run. First thing to do is take this guy out. Now we want to make sure he gets as far left as possible here. The reason for that is because there's now a car that comes through this area, and a couple years ago Rockstar made a change so that guards can actually now detect dead bodies. So we need to take this guy out exactly here so that the car that comes through here doesn't see his body. Alright, now we're going to head inside the hangar, get our loot, and then I'll talk to you once we get to the compound. Also, again though, with your loot, make sure you're prioritizing the higher value loot first. So remember, coke pays the most, weed pays the second most, and cash pays the least if you're solo. Alright, now that we're inside the compound, this is the easiest route to take. It's not quite the quickest, it's a couple seconds slower than another one, but this is going to be the easiest. So run all the way across here, head left, avoid those guards' line of sight there. Jump over this little fence. Now we want to walk up these stairs, but just wait until that guard turns around. He did. Easy. Now we do want to take him out, but we want to make sure he actually completely stops. Okay, there he is. Now we can take him out. And he dropped the gate keys for us. That's awesome, actually. We'll use those in just 1 second. We'll take this guy out too. Now that we're running up these stairs, this second guard is going to move. But we're going to run straight at him up these stairs. And punch him. Easy. Right, we're going to head into El Rubio's office. This is a hidden wall safe back here. We're going to open this one up. Walk inside, and there you go. We got like, what was that, 50 or 60k? Now this keypad here is what you would normally have to use. You'll have to basically decode 3 different fingerprints, but because we got the gate keys, we can actually go to the underground entrance, which is only going to have 1 fingerprint for us. So just follow the way that I take here. Okay, now we have to hack the fingerprint. I'm going to just pause this and try and explain it to you, because there's a very quick and easy way to do this. So the top of the fingerprint, of course, we can tell it's the top of the fingerprint. Then we want to move down 1 below that one. And in this second slot, we'll put the very top of the fingerprint again. Then we just move right once. Does that make sense? Same thing for number 3. So we go down to the 3rd spot, put the top of the fingerprint there, and then move right twice. Just keep doing that, go all the way down the fingerprint, and it should be very, very quick. Alright, now that we're inside, we can use our cutting torch to break into the vault silently here. Now, on the way out, you actually don't need to kill anyone here, so just take this route I take, jump up left here. And actually just wait for this guard to turn around, and we can run right to the door. Just be careful you don't enter that guard on the left's line of sight there, because he will see you if you go too far left, and then we're out. But now that we're out, we do want to be very quick. We want to take this guard out, standing at the bike, and then steal his bike. As quickly as you can, drive the direction I'm driving. We're just going to go straight off the island. The reason we want to be quick is because there is a car that's going to drive through and detect that guy's dead body. But if we do this quick enough, it won't even matter. So just swim away as far as you can, equip your rebreather if you want, and actually swim towards these 3 mines in the water. That's going to be the quickest way to get out of the mission. So there you go, you've done the Cayo Perico heist. The first time through, you should be able to make about $1.5 million. Every time after that though, it can vary depending on what you actually get in the vault, but normally anywhere between $950,000 to $1.5 million is what you can expect. Now, while we made about $1.5 million from the heist, because this was our first time doing it, we got a bunch of first time bonuses. You can see them popping up on the top right of the screen. And that gave us enough money for me to buy the Sparrow for the Kasatka. What that means now is every time I run the Cayo Perico heist, it's going to be a lot quicker because I have a helicopter that can be parked inside the submarine. So that's what I would recommend doing for you. Now, for our next step, we're going to create sort of a trio of making a lot of money. We've got 3 activities that we're going to use. Currently, we've got the Clock and Bell farm raid and the Cayo Perico heist, but we're going to add one more into that, and that's going to be the Dr. Dre contract. But we are going to need about $2 million to start this up. So what we're going to do is run a Clock and Bell farm raid, and then run another Cayo Perico heist once it's off cooldown. Because we did it solo, the cooldown is going to be just over 2.5 hours, but that's okay because, as they say, Rome wasn't built in a day. So I'm going to do a Clock and Bell farm raid and a Cayo Perico heist, and I'll talk to you guys in a couple of hours. Okay, I've got money now. You're going to want to buy an agency. You can do this in Dynasty 8 Executive, and this is the cheapest one. This is going to be fine. I'm not going to spend too much time on this. This is a very simple activity to do. It's not like Cayo Perico where you have to do it stealthy. So basically, what I want you to do is finish the VIP contract with Dr. Dre. To be honest, I think you're going to be okay with it. I don't think you need a guide for this bit. If you do want a full agency guide, I will link one in the description below, but for the sake of rags to riches, there's a lot of parts of the agency we're just not going to use. So what is the Dr. Dre contract and how much is it going to make us? Well, it's going to make us $1 million, and it's kind of similar to the Clock and Bell farm raid, I guess, in the sense that we have a few different setups and then a big finale, but it's not a heist. Anyway, for most players, I'd say this is going to take you about 2 hours, and you're going to get $1 million, as well as a bunch of first-time bonuses. So once you've got your agency all set up, this is going to be our grinding routine. Cayo Perico heist. That's then going to have a pretty big cooldown, 2.5 hours. Then we'll run a Dr. Dre contract, which will take about 2 hours and get us another $1 million. But that's also going to have a cooldown of about 48 minutes. So in that time, we'll run a Clock and Bell farm raid. And by the time we finish that, our Cayo Perico heist will be off cooldown again, and we can start the loop again. That is essentially the most effective money-making method in the entire game. And you've already got it at the end of episode 2 of Rags to Riches. Don't forget to sprinkle in your acid lab at this point as well, seeing as we've already got one of those, and we can move on to part 3. In part 3, we'll be covering the nightclub as well as getting your Oppressor Mark II. So there's a bit to cover. That episode will be coming out soon. Stay safe, and I'll see you then. Peace!